I do still think about it. I do still even get to the point of dangerous planning. But then at that moment, when I recognize what I'm doing, when I see that my thoughts do not have to become my actions, I immediately turn to the person to my right, the person to my left, the person in front of me, whoever they are. And I say 4 simple but effective words. I need help now. Hey guys, what is crackin', Hope Nation? What's going on? Here we are, back on the set of our wonderful vlog. If you haven't been here before, hit subscribe, click the bell. I don't know where they're going to be on the screen. They'll be somewhere. Hit subscribe, hit that bell notification. Make sure you give this video at the end of it a good thumbs up and share it with your friends. We drop videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for you and your brain, mind, behavioral, mental well-being for the art of wellness. Now, I have been getting a lot of questions from Instagram and some from Twitter and some from Facebook. We have called them together and here they are. And the questions have answers right about now. The next set of questions, the first one is pretty heavy hitting. You know, if you don't know the story, I attempted to die by my hands off the Golden Gate Bridge. I survived the fall. A sea lion came to my aid and kept me afloat until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind me. One of the foremost back surgeons in the world was leaving the hospital as I was entering. He opted to stay to save me the ability to walk, stand, and run. I'm one of only 5 individuals that get to stand, walk, and run after surviving such an attempt. There were 39 survivors total in the last 83 years, but 99% of those who did exactly what I did never get to tell their stories. So here we are, I'm talking right to you, and I want this message to help you move forward. All right, Kevin, here's the first question. I just talked to myself in third person. What am I doing? Here we go. Oh, wow. Are you still thinking of ending your life? Do you still think of taking your life? I have chronic thoughts of it. I think about it regularly. It plagues me in some way. But I maintain it will never take my life. I will never die that way because of what I did, what happened afterward, and how I know this type of death is so devastating to any family who loses someone this way. When someone dies by their hands, it's something that never goes away. It's something that burns a hole in all those left behind's chests, and they feel lost in some sense, and that loss is so great. It's not something you really can move on from. Like many ways causes of death, it's not some way you can move on from. What we need to do is find a way to look to the living to move forward. That's the hard part. Finding purpose in the pain so that you can give back to somebody else so that you can keep going on with your life. I do still think about it. I do still even get to the point of dangerous planning. But then at that moment, when I recognize what I'm doing, when I see that my thoughts do not have to become my actions, I immediately turn to the person to my right, the person to my left, the person in front of me, whoever they are. And I say 4 simple but effective words. I need help now. And if I asked you that today, what would you do? Because if you asked me, I'd try my darndest to help you. Please write us to this channel, the Kevin Hines channel on YouTube. Please write and tell me your stories, your ideas, your wishes for your wellness, and help me understand what kind of videos you need to help change your life. But on that note, the same person asked me, how do I cope? Well, first of all, as I told you, I say those 4 effective words. I always ask for help. I recognize that I am important. That's what my shirt says. It says you are important. There's a definition of important on the bottom of it. And it means that everyone who wears it is important to themselves, to their family, to their loved ones. But more importantly, they deserve to be here until their natural end. And that's what being important means. It's not that you're an important person and you're a big, highfalutin deal. No, that's not what we mean. We mean you are important because you matter. Your life matters. And it doesn't have to end in taking it with these 2 hands by lethal emotional pain. And so I cope by talking about my pain. A pain shared is a pain halved, as my good friend Sam Webb of Australia says. He's in Los Angeles, California right now. If you don't know Sam Webb, by the way, livein.org is a great organization out of Australia that's coming over here to America. He's in LA right now getting it done. Shout out Sam Webb. Love you, buddy. I've gone off track. Let's focus. How do I cope? Well, I utilize tools to better my brain health every single day, so that when I am working tirelessly to better my brain through efforts from my body, I know that I'm the best version of myself and I can continue on this path even though those thoughts of taking my life still occur. When I cope, I've gotten back in recently to sketching, which is a very good coping tool for me. I've gotten back into comic book collecting. Lauren, did you know that? I have, my lovely wife, Margaret, has given me a comic book budget. Yeah! Oh man, if I could just cope with comic books all day, I'd be fine. Because I look at them, I read them, all Marvel, of course. DC, what is that nonsense? It's ridiculous. Nobody listens or watches that stuff. Anyway, Marvel, you got a sole proprietor of your comics right here. Proprietor, that's the wrong word. You got a guy who collects them all the time, and I got a comic book budget. And that means every Friday, from here until the rest of time, if I'm home, I'm at the comic book store in my neighborhood getting it done, copping those wonderful comics, issue by issue, reading through them, keeping them in mint condition at the same time. Don't you worry about that. Let's get back to how I cope. I was asked that question and somehow I got off into comic books. Anyway, so I cope by doing things that I love. I cope by hanging out with people I care about. I cope by being honest about my pain. And I cope by looking into the eyes of those who love me and telling them the truth when I'm suicidal. I tell them the truth when I'm feeling like taking my life. I'm so honest that every time it happens, I get to live. I get to survive the pain. I get to stay right here, never to die by my hands of lethal emotional pain. And if you have the will to find the way, you can too fight that pain and know that we believe in you so much, and we absolutely, I say this every single vlog episode. We want you to stay. It's that simple. We want you to be here tomorrow and every day after that, because you are important. That I promise you. Let me show you the rest of the shirt. Can you see that? There's the definition of important. Hold on, let me back this chair up. There's the definition of important. And this, there we go. You are important because you exist. Your pure and simple existence, in my opinion, means that you're supposed to live this life naturally and never to take it on your own. That's not why we were here. That's not why we were made, created. However you feel that we came to this earth, whether you feel it's divine or whether you feel that it's some kind of osmosis from the dawn of mankind, that doesn't matter to me. I know you're supposed to be here because I'm looking in your eyes right now through this lens. And you're beautiful just as you are. You're perfect just as you are. And guess what? You're 1,000 times greater than the worst thing you've ever done. Stay here. Look, we're all going to die sometime. We're mortals, okay? None of us are immortal. We're all going to die sometime. This isn't some superhero movie. We're all going to die sometime. Give yourself the time and do the hard work for things to change for the better. All right, guys, let's get to that next question. Oh, this is great. From one juxtaposition, of course, one place, one high level to a complete opposite. What do you do for fun? Well, my idea of fun is spending a lovely day with my wife on a paseo. If you don't know what the word paseo means, it's a Spanish word, which she is, part of what she is. It's a Spanish word that means for a drive. So I don't drive. I can't drive? No, let me make it clear, I won't drive. If you see me behind a wheel, you want to get in the next lane or 2 lanes to the right. You don't want to be near me or in front of me or behind me when I'm driving, which is why I've made a cognitive decision simply not to. That's why they invented Uber and Lyft. You know what I'm saying? I don't drive. Margaret does. She is one heck of a driver. Oh, she drives fast. Don't tell the police. But you know what? When we go on our little paseos, that means that you're going to drive to nowhere. You're going on a drive to just feel the breeze when you open the window, to have a conversation with the one next to you who you love, or you enjoy their company, and just to be. You know, one of the things I've learned about recently more than ever, and it's been through the help of Jacob Moore, for instance, of nostigmas.org. He's been helping me find my inner peace. So Jacob, shout out to you of nostigmas.org, one of the great organizations for mental well-being. But he really helps me find a better state of mind through modality exercises, meditation, breathing therapy, all of those things I do in the morning now to be in the present. And when I go on my paseo with my wife, that's the only place I'm going to be. What I did recently, and Lauren can tell you about this, my producer behind the camera, that I recently took off all social medias from my phone, right, LB? She's nodding her head. You can't hear her voice. But I recently took off all social medias from my phone, except a messenger so I can stay in contact with people. So I don't see the messages that come in anymore, except when she shows them to me right here, and all these beautiful questions you guys shot into me, because it helps me be in the moment. And when I'm in the car with my wife, I used to be on the phone all the time. Recently, stopping that and trying to curtail that, because her time is valuable, my time is valuable, and we love each other, and we need to pay attention to each other, or else we can't move forward in our relationship, which is crucial. Every day you want to move forward in every relationship you have. So for fun, I hang out with my wife, I exercise, I find new restaurants to eat with my wife and my friends, and for fun, I sketch. I read a little bit. I've been reading more, which is nice, because when you read, you gain knowledge, you glean information, and then I can share it with you, which is really important, especially about mental health and mental well-being. I go to movies all the time. I'm just a brand new documentarian, brand new vlogger. Last, 9-10 months last, and I'm trying to learn about new cameras and new equipment and new materials. So all that stuff is like my lifeblood. It's so much fun, but I love more than anything else, except being with Margaret, editing the heck out of footage, or at least sequencing it for my editors, because it makes me really excited to see what content we're going to put out next. So I'll be sequencing this footage here for my main editors, and we'll go from there. And that time spent is that's good time spent, and it's a great coping tool, because I've learned a technique and I've learned a technique and a platform that helps me create good content so that you can watch it and send me your comments and let me know how we're doing. All right, guys, let's move on to one more question for this vlog. Pardon my indigestion there. We're not going to cut that. That's real life. Oh, wow. Oh, I love this question. You guys are good. All right. What is one thing you would tell your younger self? You know what? I would tell young Kevin, before he went to that bridge, to do what he did. I'd put my hand on his shoulder, and I'd just say, it gets better, homie. It gets a lot better. And if you just be patient and do the work, not only do you survive this pain, but you go on to lead a beautiful life. With a lovely woman named Margaret, who becomes your wife. You end up building and rebuilding your strength and your faith. You end up getting a dog named Max. You had him for 8 years before he passed, and he was your best friend, and he became your emotional support dog. Kevin, you've got a lot to live for. I promise you this isn't the way. And if you can just be patient, and do the work to feel better, you will most of the time. And guess what, Kev? You find a lot of hope, and you find that light at the end of the tunnel. And you never had to attempt to take your life. You just had to recognize how valued it was, how worthy you were, and how much you matter, and how important your life is. And I love you. All right, guys, I got to stop right there. I'm going to start crying thinking about my younger self. I wish I never did what I did. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Yes, it changed my life, but only because I survived. 99% of people who attempt that way die. And finally, the lethal emotional pain that would lead to you almost taking your life is never the solution to your problem. It is the problem. I need you to stay. I got your back. I'm going to be here till you get better. All right, guys, that's the vlog. If you haven't been with us before, you know where to find me, youtube.com/Kevin Hines. Hit subscribe, click that bell. And if you want to get the healthiest merch in the game, you go to kevinhinesstory.com/shop and make sure you cop that healthy merch today. It will make you feel better. It has positive affirmations on it of all kinds. And everybody who looks at your shirt is going to go, what is that? And how do I get one? Join the team, join the family, and let's go. I will see you next time right here on this channel, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're going to start potentially releasing some videos on Sunday for your weekend chill. All right, guys, be well. You know what I say every time. Be here tomorrow, every day after that, and I hope you find some light at the end of this video. Bye, guys.